Chapter 120 to 123. Though she said that, not even a second later sirens started going off, while red flashing lights appeared all over the city, and the next thing we knew we were quickly getting surrounded by what I assume would be the police of this city, with a giant spotlight shining on us. Sage, while I expected this to happen, I really underestimated the security of this place. We haven't even been here for a minute and we're already being surrounded by tens of police, with even more arriving. Sage, do you have a plan for this as well, or what? 21 but of course, all we have to do is cause a bunch of chaos and eventually she'll come out, and if she doesn't we'll just find her ourselves. Right after she said that, she turned to the groups of guards in front of us that were pointing some futuristic-looking weapons at us and shot out a key blast, but before it collided with them, I flashed in front of the attack and deflected it away, causing her displeasure. 21 what was that for, Cupcake? Sage TSK, don't kill anyone. Do you think that Cronoa, a Supreme Kai, whose job is to create, is going to just ignore the fact that you slaughtered residents of her city and just accept your proposal to help in our endeavors of finding Tawa? While in the middle of reprimanding her, the guards started firing upon us once they realized 21 tried to kill them, though they couldn't hurt us, and I could also sense a few different Ki heading in our direction. 21 I know, I'm the one who came up with this plan, I just thought it would be more fun if I killed some of them. Ignoring her, I released some of my Ki, causing everyone around us to get sent flying away in the distance, landing in different parts of the city. Though I didn't mean to use that much force, it's far harder to control my power against weak individuals. 21 here you are talking about not killing, yet you go and do this. Sage Tisk, they're all alive, just some of them have broken bones, and seeing how technological advanced this city is, I'm sure a few broken bones isn't a big deal, besides we have some company. When I finished talking, two beings landed right before us. One of them was an adult wearing a white cape, with short red that spiked up, and the other was a Saiyan child, who still had a tail, and he resembled Kakarot when he was younger. Ace a Saiyan and a Majin, what are you doing unauthorized in the Toki city, and what is your reason for coming? I wanted to speak first lest 21 makes this situation worse, but sadly she beat me to it. 21 you know, cause some mayhem here and there, a little destruction, and finally sprinkle some death on top, you know, just to sweeten it up. The moment she finished talking, she launched a death beam right at him, though she made sure to keep her power at similar levels to the man, otherwise he would have instantly died. After he dodged the attack, he charged at 21 and started fighting her up front, and while that happened I sensed the kid attack me from the side. Shifting my head, I dodged the kick and backstep to dodge another Ki blast he sent. Then he jumps back at me and starts fiercely attacking me with punches, kicks, and he even tried a headbutt. Dodging another attack, I again released my Ki, which caused the kid to get sent fly away several meters before he finally stopped, but even so, he couldn't move an inch closer to me as my Ki was too powerful. Sage is this the best you got, or what? When he heard me, he stood up, before transforming into a Super Saiyan, allowing his aura to slightly push back against mine, though it was still difficult for him to come near me. He eventually did, and once he did, he launched a Kamehameha at point-blank range, which completely engulfed me. Beat is this better? Sage it indeed is, but it seems like 21 has caused enough damage while fighting against your partner, as I can sense reinforcements are coming, although I'm surprised those two are here. Reaching my hand through the attack, I close the child's hands, preventing him from continuing his attack, and throw him towards his teammate, who had just crashed into the ground with some slight injuries. 21 well, the battle was disappointing, but at least we seem to have finally gotten Cronoa's attention, seeing as she brought out the stronger warriors. Right when 21 landed beside me, the keys I sensed earlier finally arrived, and they were Trunks, Kakarot, and Vegeta, while those two seemed to have gotten a massive boost in power, having power even higher than their counterparts. 21 oh my, what a coincidence, don't you think so, Cupcake? Trunks so Sage, can you tell me why you've attacked the city? Vegeta TCH, and why is she here? Underscore. After we explained everything to Trunks about Tawa's mission, he seemed to have understood the danger Demigra possessed, so after grabbing his two friends, he led us to the middle of the city where the giant hourglass was and walked inside one of the doors, which lead to a small area encased in a dome. The inside of the dome had a small yard with a weird-looking house, though not as weird as Namekian homes. We walked up to the entrance of the door, and when we did, an old-looking bird landed on Trunks' shoulder. Trunks it's good to see you, Toki, but something really important has come up that Supreme Kai Cronoa needs to hear. The bird nodded at Trunks, before he started loudly screeching for a while, before we heard a loud feminine voice coming from inside the house. Cronoa - be quiet Toki, I'm up. Ha, I was in the middle of a good nap Oswell. After what sounded like some fumbling and angry muttering, the door was finally opened revealing a pink small woman, who looked like she had just gotten up from bed, though when she saw all of us, she freaked out before slamming the door, and opening it a few seconds later, this time looking like a professional Supreme Kai. Cronoa - it's rare for this many people to visit me, but allow me to introduce myself. My name's Cronoa, the Supreme Kai of Time. She said that with a prideful smile on her face while puffing out her chest, which caused me to snicker as she has practically no breasts. Sage, while I can't accurately sense her ki, I must say for a pathetic Supreme Kai, she is quite powerful. Cronoa - so what's the reason with you three bringing this many people? Trunks - I think it would be better if I explained it inside as it's very important. With how urgent Trunks sounded, Cronoa didn't seem to dally as she quickly opened the door allowing everyone to walk inside, though with how short the door frame is most of us had to duck to get inside the house. Once we've all sat down, Trunks starts explaining all the information 21 told him to Cronoa, and by the time he finished her face looks quite bad. Cronoa - is everything you said true, Majin? 21 - you think I would willingly come here if I had any other options, and the name's 21, unless you're feeling like you've lived long enough. Though 21 responded with a menacing smile, Cronoa didn't bother with her. As to her, it seemed like the matter regarding Demigra was much more important. Cronoa - this is bad, really bad, terrible even. We've been tracking down Tawa for a while now, and while we knew she was up to no good, I didn't think she would do something as insane as trying to release Demigra from his seal. Vegeta - who exactly is this Demigra that's seemed to have everyone scared? Cronoa - Demigra was once a student of a rival Supreme Kai of mine a long time ago. I won't give the whole story, but things went south and I defeated Demigra's teacher. He tried to get revenge which didn't work and I sealed him within a dimension which is now called the Demon Realm. Everything was fine for a couple of million years, but eventually, Demigra managed to break free from imprisonment after gaining unimaginable levels of power. He tried attacking Toki City to destroy the Time Vault, which is where the history of every timeline is stored, and create a new single timeline with him acting as God. I couldn't stop him alone, but luckily I managed to contact some of the other gods who came to help and we eventually defeated him, or as you now know, sealed him within the crack of time. By the time she finished explaining to us about Demigra's past, she had calmed down from her previous panicking state. Goku - so then Demigra must be quite powerful then. Cronoa - powerful doesn't even begin to describe him. At his peak, he was capable of going toe-to-toe with the god of destruction Beerus, though it's been a long time since then, so I'm sure the current Lord Beerus is many times stronger than what he used to be. Hearing the name god of destruction Beerus, none of us were surprised, well, except Kakarot and Vegeta. Vegeta - what's god of destruction mean? Sage - I'm sure Nala has informed you of where I went when I used the Black Star Dragon Balls, correct? Goku - yeah, she said you went to another timeline, the timeline where I become a Super Saiyan God, at least that's what she said. Sage - yes, the timeline I went to is where you and Vegeta managed to harness God Ki, different from how you two seem to have followed in the footsteps of our ancestors. In that timeline, there exists a being called a God of Destruction. He is incredibly powerful, and if he wanted he could destroy the entire universe, though he isn't the only one either as there's still 11 others as well. When I told them the power a God of Destruction possesses, instead of getting scared or nervous, they responded like a proper Saiyan would, with excitement. Vegeta - someone even more powerful than you, I'm intrigued. Goku - yeah, when do we get to meet with this God of Destruction? Though before anyone could douse their excitement, someone busted through the door shifting everyone's attention to the person sprinting with a face full of panic. Once they arrived next to Cronoa, they quickly explained the situation. Guard - Mrs. Cronoa, someone's attacking the city, they've already killed several people and caused severe damage and we can't stop him. What the guard said angered Cronoa, Ace, Beat as well as Trunks. Cronoa - damn it, I'll go and show them not to mess with my city. Standing up we all followed behind Cronoa as she made her way out of the hourglass. We were inside, though the moment we stepped outside we sensed a dark and sinister ki, probably the evilest ki I've ever sensed. Goku - this ki, it reminds me of the Shadow Dragons. Vegeta - except much, much stronger. Sage - TSK, you guys go and save your city, I'll go and confront this person. Shooting off into the sky, leaving everyone behind except 21 who had decided to tag along with me, flying in the direction of Ki. Once we arrive I see a big ancient Saiyan in a straight jacket as well as a mask covering his face, and his aura is dark black, radiating power and destruction, similar to my ki but more intense. Sage-Cumber. The Saiyan in front of me is one of the very few people I could recognize from the Dragon Ball heroes, considering I never watched the show, but I loved Cumber's personality and appearance, and seeing him right before me put a smile on my face. 21 - Another Saiyan, and this one is quite powerful and evil. I bet he'll taste great. Food - He's not for eating. 21, he's meant to cause some destruction. Flashing out of nowhere is a purple dude with white hair wearing glasses, and he seems to be the reason why Cumber is attacking the city. Sage - Someone, you know by chance? 21 - Nope, but then again I can't know everything. However, since you've already shown yourself, why don't you tell your reason for attacking at such a specific time? Food - Smart, just as I expected. 21, but for your information, I'm doing this for fun and science, and aren't you curious as well? 21 - That may be true, but I'm not just going to let you continue, as I currently need their assistance. As if right on cue, I charged forth toward Cumber, though I was mainly getting bored of all the talking that was happening. Taking Cumber by surprise, I punch him in the face, sending him crashing into the city and destroying some buildings. A few seconds later, everything gets blown away by Cumber releasing his ki. Looking at me, he rips off his straitjacket, which seemed to have been suppressing his ki as his power grew to a ridiculous level. Smirking, I take off my bracers and power up as well to match Cumber's power, yet not even a second later Cumber launches himself at me as we quickly engage in battle. Dodging one of his attacks, I kick him, which he manages to dodge, before punching me in my face. Grabbing his arm that's still connected to my face, I knee him in the stomach, and after that, I elbow him on the back of his head. Though he retaliates back from my attacks by releasing even more ki than before, which managed to push me away. Sage - Ha ha ha, it's been a while since I've been able to enjoy fighting a stronger enemy. Come on, show me everything you got. Smiling, I activate Ikari and rush back towards Cumber, who had just ripped off his face mask, revealing the smiling face of one enjoying a fight. Once close, we lock hands with each other and try pushing against each other, though with how incredible Cumber's power is, I didn't manage to hold on for long before I got pushed back and kicked into the ground below. While I was trying to escape from the ground, I sensed Cumber flying straight at me with a terrifying speed before he hit me. Though I managed to put my guard up in time, the force from the impact sent me crashing even deeper through the ground until I exited out underneath the city, which I just found out that floated. Focusing back on Cumber, who had just come flying out of the hole I made, I wiped the blood trickling out of my mouth and charge at Cumber with a huge grin. While fighting, I noticed that his aura was constantly trying to corrupt me or something, but it wasn't that big of a deal, as how can you corrupt something of similar nature? My aura doesn't radiate evilness like Cumber's does, but as a legendary Saiyan my aura radiates destruction, even more than his. Barely dodging a punch, I punch him as well, which misses, and before I can retract my arm I get elbowed in the stomach, almost forcing me to spit out saliva, but I forced my mouth to stay shut. Flashing away, I stay at a distance for a little bit and fire several galactic bursts along with hundreds of normal ki attacks. Luckily Cumber doesn't bother evading, though once the smoke clears I don't even notice a scratch on him. Sage, I knew Cumber was powerful, but I never knew he was this powerful. This could really be a problem, considering he hasn't even transformed, though I don't even know if he can. I was about to launch myself back into battle, but before I did, something came crashing through the bottom of the city and it was heading right towards me. I was going to attack it, but I stopped once I sensed who it was. When it arrived near me, I braced myself and caught the person. Once I caught her, I quickly let go as I sensed the purple man come out of the same hole 21 made. Food - Why do you have to be like this? 21, all I did was ask you to join me, you didn't have to attack me. 21 - Hee, my arm slipped, how about asking me again? Food - Nope, I just asked on you a whim, I wasn't that interested in you, and in my eyes, you're just a failed experiment anyways, so I shall be returning to my base, while watching how you deal with my little slave here. Cumber, kill those two. When he finished talking, he turned to Cumber and gave him a command which caused a mark on Cumber's chest to light up beneath his shirt before receding. After that happened the purple man disappeared. Sage - TSK, so mind telling me who that was? 21 - He goes by Fu, and he's powerful, so what about that Saiyan, which I must say currently looks even more delicious than you? Sage - Cumber, and he's powerful. I stopped talking as Cumber launched himself at the both of us with an even faster speed than what he demonstrated before. He grabbed both of our heads and flew up to right underneath the city and rammed us into it, causing me to grunt in pain while 21 just got a little deformed, though he didn't stop there as he kept pushing, driving us through the floating city like we were nails, and only once we exited from the top did he let go by throwing us. Stopping myself in midair, 21 and I charged at him. Once we were close I punched toward his face, while 21 flashed behind Cumber attacking with a kick, but Cumber managed to deflect both of our attacks while also counterattacking, which neither of us managed to block nor dodge in time. Taking the punch to the stomach, I grab a hold of his arm, limiting his maneuverability, which allowed 21 to kick him in the face, though when she went for another attack Cumber pulled the arm I was holding and hit her with me, before launching a key wave at us. Seeing the attack, we launch off each other, allowing us to barely dodge his key wave, before jumping right into battle with Cumber, though even with the both of us fighting against Cumber we're getting destroyed, and I'm in even worse shape, considering I don't heal instantly. 21 - You weren't lying when you said he was strong. Our attacks haven't phased him once all this time, though that means it'll be all the more delicious devouring him. Sage - TCH, now isn't the time for you to be thinking of eating people, especially when you're weaker than him. With both of us hovering right next to each other, we were about to jump back into battle, but before we could, we were suddenly transported to somewhere completely different with nothing but whiteness for as long as I could see. Cronoa - Finally, it took some time, but I've managed to do it. Looking to the left, we notice Cronoa standing next to us while looking exhausted, but she had a satisfied smile on her face. Sage - Care to tell us what you did? Cronoa - Your guys' battle was causing a lot of destruction to the city, and if it wasn't for Vegeta and Goku helping and keeping the shockwaves from the battle reaching the core of the city, then it would have been destroyed. But now I've managed to transport you all into another dimension that is quite far away from Toki Toki City, so that means you guys can go all out without having to worry. Right after Cronoa finished talking she disappeared, but what she said put a huge smile on my face, as that was one of the reasons why neither of us used our full power, as we still need the city's help with locating Tawa, but now we don't have to worry about damaging the city. Smiling, I instantly transform into LSSJ, causing my power to vastly increase as well as my body mass to increase considerably, and I wasn't the only one who grew in power. To the right of me, I saw 21 stand in a similar fashion to Frisia and watched how her pink skin turn into dark purple with various spots on her body along with her eyes gaining an even darker shade of red than before, but her power skyrocketed till it was on par with mine. 21 - Ho ho, don't look at me like that, I told you that I had confidence in approaching you, didn't I? Sage - Good, once this is over you can actually give me a fight. Focusing back on Cumber who hasn't shown any change in expression except for the smile on his face, both of us get into fighting positions, as we prepare for the true battle. Within the vast space of whiteness, Sage and 21 stared down their opponent, Cumber, with serious eyes and a smile on their face before shooting off right towards him while Cumber did the same. When those two charged at their enemy, a green aura trail with specks of red followed right behind Sage, while a pure dark purple aura trail followed after 21, and Cumber's aura had nothing but red and black. Once the green, dark purple, and red and black aura collided, it caused the very dimension to crack, almost getting destroyed within a single attack, though luckily it didn't as the dimension was capable of healing itself faster than the shockwave of their attacks damaging it. _____________. Sage even with both of us releasing our full power, he still doesn't seem to be having any difficulty handling both of us, though I'm curious how long he will be able to keep this up. Though I got knocked out of my thoughts by one of Cumber's attacks, I just smiled through it as I retaliated with even more power, as the longer the fight drags on the stronger I'll get till I eventually overpower him. Grabbing 21 by the tail, who had just gotten kicked away, I throw her right back towards Cumber as I follow right behind while shooting key blasts to hopefully distract him, which he promptly deflected all with relative ease before blocking 21's attack and counterattacking. Seeing that, I tried attacking him while he was focused on 21, but I had to stop and block a fist attack made entirely out of his ki, though I got pushed back and 21 came flying right back at me. 21 - This isn't looking too good right now, Cupcake. Our attacks rarely manage to actually hit him, and even when they do, it doesn't seem to faze him whatsoever. Sage - TSK, well, do you have any better ideas, because I'm open to any. 21 - How about you let me turn you into a Cupcake - Sage - Never going to happen. Ignoring 21's comment about trying to devour me, I charge right back into the battle while trying to slowly figure out Cumber's fighting style to hopefully give me an edge while fighting him, and I've come to notice that his style of fighting is similar to how I fight, dodge any attacks directed at my vital points, tank or block attacks directed anywhere else. I've always fought like that so I could abuse my Saiyan genetics, though Cumber seems to have taken that style to the extreme as he hasn't tried to dodge any attacks since the fight started. As the battle proceeds, my power continues to grow, eventually reaching a point where 21 could no longer interfere with the fight between Cumber and me, but I'm currently heavily injured as since 21 could no longer interfere I've become the only target for Cumber. Sage goddamn. I never realized how many deadly attacks 21 was tanking for me. If I had taken even a single one of those attacks right when the battle started I would have been out of commission, or worse, dead. Getting punched in the stomach, I cough out a mouthful of blood before quickly retaliating with a key wave from my mouth, which he simply blocked before roundhouse kicking me towards the ground, and right when I managed to stop myself, he landed a devastating knee to my chest, which caused some of the bones that weren't already broken to finally break while I got sent crashing into the white ground with severe injuries. After laying still for a few seconds, trying to gain as much rest as possible before getting back into the fight, I slowly make my way out of the white ground, with 21 helping me midway through. 21-Cupcake, you do know, if you continue on like that, we'll both die. Sage-My ki is still rising even as we speak, but I'm too injured to properly use my full strength. My body's endurance has reached its limit. If I continue fighting I'll start getting weaker. What I had just said was true. While my ki is still constantly rising, I can't properly use it in my body's current state, and if I continue fighting I'll start getting weaker and weaker. Even standing right now is difficult. Sage-, don't you know, some healing magic, or something? 21-, my goal has been getting stronger, not being a doctor, besides with a body that is practically immortal healing magic is obsolete to me. Grunting in response, I stop leaning on 21 and head toward Cumber while breathing raggedly, though it seemed like help had finally arrived, in the form of Gogeta. Gogeta-, it seems I've arrived just in time. How about you take a rest, Sage, and let me deal with this guy. Sage-, just a warning, but watch out for that guy's ki, it's capable of corrupting people. After giving Gogeta my warning, I floated back down next to 21 and laid on the ground as we both watched the confrontation between Cumber and Gogeta, though Gogeta wasn't the only one to arrive. Cronoa-, my goodness you're injured, let me heal you, so stay right there and don't move. I may not be the best at healing among the Supreme Kais, but I'm still pretty good. Seeing Cronoa appear beside us, she immediately notices the state I'm in before quickly heading near me and starts healing me while we watch the battle unfold between Cumber and Gogeta. Sage-, mind telling me why it took so long for you guys to arrive? If you guys hadn't just now arrived, there was a good chance I would have died while fighting him. Cronoa-, when I returned after I had teleported you three here, there was a couple of people that appeared with weird white masks on their face and attacked the city, and if it wasn't for Goku and Vegeta's help the city most likely would have been destroyed. Once they were dealt with, those two kept trying to force me to send them to where you to where, but I denied them as the difference in power between them was too big, though Goku had somehow managed to convince Vegeta to do this mystical dance that allowed them to fuse. They failed on the first attempt and had to wait for 30 minutes, but luckily they had managed to get it correct on the second attempt, and after that, I instantly brought him here. Now stop talking and let me heal you. 21-, I must say the results of the fusion are astonishing. I've always known about the Metamoran fusion, but to see it at its full potential is something else. I just hope my cattle has finally fused, otherwise, I'm going to be really disappointed. I heard what she said first, but she had muttered her last sentence really quiet. Sadly, I was too injured to be able to hear her properly. Sage-, what did you say, 21? 21-, I just said that you haven't been this injured since we last fought. I was about to rebuke her, but it seems like the battle between Cumber and Gogeta has started to get serious, seeing as how Gogeta finally transformed into a Super Saiyan. If you want to support me, check out my Patreon at https://www.patreon.com/Kaioshin. I tend to polls that decide important plot stuff in my P at Trian. Many thanks to my awesome patrons. Nicholas Berenger, Ben Phillips, Yami Tancho, Taco TSK, Jose Torres, Rizik Ottman.
If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. I'll be here until next time.